A couple of months ago, a dream of mine came true and I bought a tiny van. And although we've worked on it quite a bit and been on lots of adventures together, there's still so much to do. So today, we are going to be attempting to fit a roof rack, a roof basket. I am going to be attempting to fit LED lights, and my brother is going to be putting in a new sound system with a new door and a new head unit. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's very complicated, but let's go. One thing that's quite difficult about this van is there's not that many models out there, so trying to find a roof rack that actually works on the van is quite difficult, and I had to wait 10 days just for this to get here, and I'm hoping that they are going to work. These are my 4 clips that will be going either side of the van, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. So I've just put together one clamp. I'm going to put this on the side of the vehicle and see if it works. Ooh. I'm just going to try it here now just to see, because I'm guessing it does. That doesn't feel that sturdy, but I'm hoping once I've done the clamp on the other side and I can put a bar through, it will mean that it will be much more sturdy. Guys, that already feels way tighter. That feels way more solid. Woo! Let's go. Don't know about you guys, but I don't think it's very centered. Cool, so we have both roof racks now on. So the next step is to actually build this basket and sort of line up where I want to have it. It's upside down. Step number 2 is fitting this roof basket. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to have that much storage within the van. I'm going to try and maximise it, obviously, as most as possible. But this is what it looks like. I'm going to put this on the floor now, open it up and start building. Honestly, this blanket has served me so well in life. I bought this to do a video. It's like old school camping, and I wasn't allowed to use like any modern tools, but I definitely recommend just getting like a good rugged blanket like this, because it's just like, oh, tried to not scuff it and just banged it. I get to a van and I've just scuffed it anyway. 4 of those, 4 of those, 6 of those. You're not a real man unless you throw away the instructions and then get frustrated halfway through that you don't know how to do it. I guess I'm not a real man because I've started using the instructions already. I'm not going to tighten it up just yet. I'm going to make sure I've got everything in. Whoa, that looks so cool. So this is going to sit on top of Zuki. My only problem is it's raining right now, so I don't want to go outside because I'm going to get absolutely soaking wet, and I need to open the doors, which will mean all the insides will get wet as well. But this is like 90 centimeters wide by 120 centimeters long, and my Zuki is actually, I think she's 110 centimeters wide. So this should look pretty cool on top. I'm like sat here like waiting for the rain to stop, and I'm like, ugh, so annoying. But looks cool. Unfortunately, the weather's not letting up right now, so I'll see you back tomorrow, and hopefully Danny can also start getting on with the stereo system as well, which will be very exciting. Hi guys, the weather still hasn't let up, which is really, really frustrating, but what I've done instead is I've just put some waterproof jackets on because I can't let the weather stop me from converting my van. So I'm going to place my basket on top of my roof right now. That looks absolutely huge on top of the van, and I think what I might have to do is actually move it more forward when I get the solar panel on there, but for now I'm going to keep it as it is and just check out, see how it looks, because I think it looks kind of cool actually. This is what it looks like. Dun, da, da, da. On top of here we're actually going to be putting a like jerry can type things. They've also got a spare wheel to go on top, and maybe some other things that we just along the way we'll just need. So that's what we're going to be able to put on there. But look how good it looks. I have noticed though that these definitely do protrude more than I would like, so I definitely want to cut these down. But one thing that I'm really happy about is this. Now that this is locked into place with this just seems to become one whole unit, and now it is solid. Like, that is not going to go anywhere. I fully believe that I'll be able to drive down the motorway absolutely fine with no problems, which is what I really wanted. So I'm really happy with that, the results of it. That looks so good, which means we actually have to move on to the next thing, which I didn't actually outline in this video. But in order to put the electrics in my van, I actually need to sort out the flooring, and I haven't actually screwed the panel in yet, and I've noticed a major flaw in what I've done, which I'll show you now. So if you open Zuki up and I lift up these panels here, we've insulated all of the flooring here. However, these gaps we haven't done, so I'm actually going to have to build a tiny thing on both sides so I can completely cover the floor with insulation, and then that way I'm able to put this flooring down. As a side note as well, I never knew how addictive buying tools were. This is a new bit of kit that I bought from Makita, and honestly, the more I look into it, the more I'm getting addicted to like wanting more and more tools because of how much more stuff you're able to do. And I also didn't realise how much stuff or how many tools you needed in order to convert a van. But honestly, if you've got ADHD, don't look into tools because you will go crazy and you will spend a lot of money doing it. I'm going to get these stuck together now, and then once this is stuck with this, I'll then glue it down with some silica, and that should be all this done, and then I can move on to the next one at the front there and start getting them gaps filled in as well. Cool. You have to leave this on for a minimum of 6 hours to a maximum of 24 hours. So I might get everything screwed in place like so, and then tonight, before I go to bed, I'll actually Sikaflex it all down so I know it's in place correctly, and then put the weights on it so I can leave it for at least like 12 to 16 hours. So the plan with this section here is just to cover this whole area, but I have noticed that someone actually did comment this in the comment section before, that Japanese vehicles always tend to have like hidden compartments, and under here there's actually a massive area which I discovered by there was like a little black sort of cover here. I don't know if this will be a structural point, so I may not be able to do it, but this is another area where I can actually access it, and this is like a huge box which essentially would be able to put like 2 pairs of shoes. It's just an idea, and I may do it further down the line, but I do like the idea, and as long as this isn't a structural point that I need, then I think I can do it. But for now, we just need to build this area. That's not going anywhere. Now to do the other side. So I've done all of the cladding now here. I need to head home because I need to be able to Sikaflex everything down, and in order for it to work you need to leave it for like 6 hours minimum, and I want to leave it overnight, so I want to put some like weights on it. So I'm going to take it home, put weights on it, well Sikaflex it, then put some weights on it, and then I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow when we will be able to do the stereo system and the sound system, which would be quite cool because then we actually get some music, because right now we don't have anything. This is going to be for the speaker setup, and I'm going to pull these pallets apart. So we've got all these planks of wood, and I can sand them, make them look nice, and make them into the door frames so that I can put the new speakers in. Well, if you need it. So that went a lot better than I expected, but now I've got loads of nails in these planks, so I'm just going to hammer them from the other side and get them out. As you can see, got them in a line, and now I'm going to sand them down to make them look pretty. Next, I'm going to take the panel off the door so I can use it for measurements.
Haha. This is the vapor barrier here, so I'm just going to get a Stanley knife and cut this glue bit so I can take it off. At this point, I made sure I had the right amount of wood, marked them out, glued them together and moved on to the radio. Yes! That even smells old. I am very surprised that they actually seem to have the exact same connectors on them, which is very convenient. However, I'm not going to put this in quite yet because I need to figure out the doors first and then I can wire the speakers into them.
Guys, it's a brand new day and I've got Danny here who's going to be fitting the sound system to Zuki, and I'm going to be doing the LED lights, as you can see by this spaghetti of wires right here. However, before I start messing around cutting and soldering wires together, we've got a battery here so we can actually check to see if these LED lights work. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. I mean, if there's an electrician in the comment section, just let us know, because this is probably not the thing you should be doing, but I don't know how else to test it.
Nah, it'll be alright.
Whoa! Oh my god, it's working!
Whoa!
Woo! We have light. I believe from the minimal sort of research I did by YouTube, this has to go on the positive and negative of our battery in our van. We have the fuse in here, so if it goes higher than 30 amps, it just blows the whole circuit. And then this, something to, it'll probably be like a converter or something. I can put the switch into the van through the bonnet, and then that way I can turn on or off the LED lights when I wish.
So whilst Aaron's watching videos about how to do that, I am going to draw my outline around this pallet that we've glued together, and then I can cut it out with the jigsaw. I'm going to cut this template out of the wood, and I don't want to do it inside, so I've had to set up the parasol because it's chucking it down. Classic UK weather. Hello. Looking good, guys. Now I just need to drill some holes in so I can get the jigsaw in there.
So now let's take these bumpers off. I've got to take the grill off, and then also these lights I have to deattach. So then I'm able to move this forward. I'm supposed to actually just like rock forward without having to take the whole thing off, and then I can cut it out from the back and properly see inside. So I'm just going to try to do that. So I've managed to take the lights out, and then now this should in theory just rock forward. Oh no. God damn it. I've gotten underneath the actual van and someone has screwed in the bumper into, it looks like where they shouldn't have, because the bumper also bends in here. Because on another van that I've seen, they just pull this forward and it's fine. But what I might be able to do, rather than being able to pull it completely forward, there's enough flex in it right now where I should be able to move it forward, and I'm just going to cut a hole out here because the LED light fits in kind of perfect, and I might end up being able to somehow put something together where I can screw it in here without having to completely move the whole thing forward. It's going to make things a bit more complicated, but otherwise I'm going to have to get under there and essentially just taper the screw out because it's so rusted and it's just completely like rounded off, like there's no way. So I'm going to give it a go first and see what I can do. Ta-da! And that's the end of the video, guys. There's our light.
This is not done, but next step is to figure out where I need to cut the hole for the new speakers. And I actually have the speakers here. They give you a little cardboard cutout, so you don't have to use the speakers to measure if you're having to drill any holes like I am. That's the template I need to cut out. So let's draw it on and then cut it out.
I don't even know how to explain it. I'm having to like make some sort of makeshift Lego thing in order to like have it work. Because there is one plastic bracket on the back of the bumper and I don't want you to be able to see any of the screws. That's my goal.
In theory, this speaker should fit in this gap and screw in no problem. In theory. Oh, look at that!
That's cool.
I need to take those door panels home and clean them up and make them look pretty. So the next job is everything inside the cab, and I'm going to start off with getting the radio in. Now luckily for us, the old radio had the same connectors as the new radio, so it should just be a plug and play, hopefully. Goes in there. There we go. Ideal. That's working. But the next job is the tiny speakers that we actually have in this van. I've got some JBL replacements for them. So I am going to swap them out and see how much of a change that makes, because hopefully that will make a huge difference. Ooh. So that's the old speaker. This is the new one. It was actually a really simple process to wire these speakers in, but if you're confused, the negative wire, which is symbolised by a black stripe, connects to the small prong, whereas the positive wire, symbolised by a solid colour, connects to the larger prong. Battery is back on, so let's see if it works. That is perfect. Does sound a bit funny because obviously one speaker is a lot better than the other one. However, I think I'm gonna put this all back, finish the other side, and then we're gonna go home and hopefully get back at this in a couple of days when it's not chucking it down.
So in the world of like doing van conversions, things just always go wrong, which is like super frustrating. I could technically solder this to this, but as you can see right now it's just pouring down with rain, and the last thing I want to do is trying to wire things up with solder in the rain in case something bad happens. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go to the electricians and find the positive end to this, so that when I've locked it in I don't have to be essentially getting wet trying to solder it and then be worried about electrocuting myself. But I've attached these brackets on and I've had to like do some adjustments, but I think it should be okay. But so frustrating. So I'm gonna have to wait until tomorrow morning now to go grab these bits, and then I can do it. Good morning, guys. So it's the next day. Obviously yesterday didn't really progress that much. Basically assembled these brackets, cut them like plastic headlights out, and didn't really get much further than that because of how bad the weather was and the fact that we didn't have, I think it's the male ends to this. However, this morning I went shopping and they've given me these like connector things, and supposedly what you do is really simple. You get this wire in here like so, you clip it down, and then this cable is now connected, and all I have to do is get the red cable on the other side and do the exact same thing again, which means I will have to cut the other cable off, or the end to it, which is absolutely fine. So without further ado, it's like 10 in the morning, so I've got loads of time. I'm just going to crack on with it. I hate rusty screws. That's the screw, completely rusted, but the head was just like so difficult to get out. And this acts like a backwards thread, so when you twist it to the left, it tightens up and eventually catches and pulls out like this. Sometimes it does not go anywhere near as easy as planned to this, but this time it's worked, so pretty happy about that. Got it. So I'm down here working, and this is how torrential the rain is right now. My head is literally there where then that puddle is. Guys, that took me so long. That's taking me like an hour and a half just to try and get this screw out, try everything. Now I've just got to do this one in the corner. That is so frustrating. Whew, I did it though. Right, I've tried to do the other side, but definitely struggling. So I can reach it from here and here, which is like plenty fine. So I'm going to see if I can just work with it here and just be careful in that corner that I don't bend the screw. So I'm going to try screw these in here and get them fairly quite tight. And then once they're in place and I feel like I'm happy with them, then I'll actually like put some like silicone at the bottom as well, just to like extra secure it, and then that way it'll stop like the vibrations going. That works well. Guys, we're in. Guys, that's what it's going to look like. Now we just need to wire everything up through the van, attach it to the battery, button goes through to the dashboard, and then the final test is to see if it actually is going to work. So I'm going to get on with that. Guys, I honestly cannot believe this. So one lot of electrics does reach to the light, but the other one is much shorter. So I'm gonna have to go and get wires and then make the actual cable longer. And bear in mind, the reason I did it this way is because I tried to save money. I bought these LED lights for like £20 rather than buying like the official ones for like £50 or £60. But with the extra cables that I have to buy, then the little joiners that I've had to buy, then the things that I'm about to get, the actual cables, I'm like, I've already spent the same amount of money. I should have just bought the ones that officially go with this. So silly. But here we are, this is a lesson learned. So I'm going to have to go get some cables and do some adjusting and solder some cables together, which I've never done before. So I've had to go out and buy more cables so I can make this longer. So hopefully this works. I've obviously never done this before, but I'm going to give it a go and just see how I get on. Cool, so there is our ends, and now put that in there, that on there, and then all I have to do is put them in them ends as well, in theory. But first I wanted to make sure that the new cables worked. No way. No way, guys, it's working. Wait, it works. No way. I thought I'd have blown the car up. So wired everything up underneath, and now I'm going to jump on the inside and start fiddling with wires behind the dashboard and trying to get it so you can't see any of the wires. So I've got everything roughly where I need it. So now just last thing is to wire these cables into the battery, which is kind of scary. Sweet, hopefully that doesn't blow up. So this is the moment of the truth. I've basically done everything. I just now need to check that the lights turn on. Then all I've got to do is just secure all the cables in place with some cable ties, tie some things up with some electrical tape, and then that's the LEDs done, which is super exciting. But I'm gonna have to get in the car now, turn the ignition, and then see for myself, or you guys are gonna see first, if the LEDs actually work. No way! Woohoo! No way! Guys, we actually did it! That's like a successful little project. Honestly, that was like a bit nerve-wracking. I thought the wires were going to burn out. As of right now, nothing's happened, so I think we're good to go. I just need to do some like finishing touches, which is doing the cables and stuff. But I'm so buzzing about that. That is so cool. I was not expecting it to work. And it looks really cool as well. In the end, maybe not going for the expensive option did actually work out, because these LED lights definitely look cooler than the other ones that I was originally going to get. and I think they might be brighter as well. But man, I'm so happy about that. Now I need to basically pass this over to Danny. Danny's gonna have to do all of the speaker system on the inside and the doors and stuff, but from my end I'm pretty good. So yeah, I'm just gonna tidy everything up, get all these wires done properly, and then I just need to put some like silicone in a couple of the gaps, just to make sure it's like stays securely. But super excited, super happy, super buzzing. I'm like, ah! Good morning, my fellow friends. So it's the next day. LED lights are still working, and it rained overnight, so that's a good sign. And my brother, who's just behind the camera right now, is here to take over for the day, and he's actually going to be fitting the speakers inside the van, which is super exciting because that's going to mean that we've got a better sound system, better LED lights, we've got a roof rack and a roof basket on the van, which is fantastic. And now we've done sort of like all the accessories on the outside, which means we can eventually move on to the next step, but obviously we'll talk about that in the next video. But for now, we're going to crack on, and well, Danny's going to crack on and he's going to do the speakers, and I'm actually also going to just finish off insulating these little bits, because for our next step in our next video I'm going to have to actually get the flooring down, which is super exciting. But like I said, crack on the speakers now, let's go. Carrying on with the sound system today, I'm going to take the speaker out, sand all of this down because there's loads of wood glue and a few little lumps and bumps, and then hopefully I can get it in, wire it up and see how it sounds, which I'm very excited about. So let's get on with it. And whilst Danny finishes off sanding the doors down, I'm actually insulating the parts that I didn't do beforehand, and then once that's all finally done, once I ordered this birch wood, I can actually finish cladding all of this flooring, which would mean the whole floor is done, which is just like an insane part. And I never thought that we would get to a point with the van where we're going to have all of this done, we'll have the electrics over there, and then we can start thinking about the ergonomics of the whole van. But super exciting. So I've sanded all the glue off, and I've also rounded the edges so it looks pretty. Now put the speakers on, and then we're actually going to fit it in the car. It is now time to glue on this, which is the old door panel. Now I've got to use this, I think it's called thermal tape, and then that'll just keep all of the moisture back out again. So bang, 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 all the way around, which is so exciting, because I just want to, this would be so cool once the floor's in, like so cool. First piece down. So it is all screwed and glued together, and now it's time to see how it looks on the actual door. Thought we would have a bit of an issue with the door closing. I can see that this corner here is just touching. Just going to cut this little corner off and then come back and try again. Another couple of adjustments and then hopefully that'll fit. I've got this to fit nice and snug. So the next step is to actually wire the speakers in so that they work off the head unit, which is very exciting but a little bit worrying. These are the speaker cables here, and the way this works is these grey and white ones are being used for the front two speakers, which I've already changed, but these green and purple ones are not being used currently, which I can get these new speakers to run off of. I'm going to start with purple and the purple and black wires here, which are the right speakers, and try and wire them in to the new speaker system now. This loose cable here is running through the door, through this rubber part that has the rest of the cables, and into the cab. And then I'm going to attach these together
plug the speaker in on this end, and then hopefully we should have music.
Fingers crossed. Holding thumbs, as the Polish do.
I proceeded to cut and strip the wires and added connectors so that I could join the old to the new. That's on, so negative, negative, they connect up like that, and that is my cable.
Cool, well done, congratulations.
Okay, so here's the back of the speaker, and then the positive goes on the large end, and the negative goes on the smaller end. And that is technically wired in. We'll give it a go.
It's either going to go really well and it's going to be amazing sound, or he's going to fry all the electrics in the van and make it a complete write-off, which will be a few £1,000s down the drain. Something said something. It just tapped. Oh, it's worked! Oh, it's vibrating!
Oh, that's
High five.
so
How
much
about it?
relief. Jesus, that is so much relief.
Let's go! It worked. We actually have some cool speakers set up and cool LED lights set up in the van, and both things went to plan. Like, me or Danny, neither of us have done anything like electrics before, but somehow I managed to pull it off, so let's go! That is the door, right there. Well done, broski.
Yeah. Now,
Yo, spud.
need to do the other one. And then I'm also gonna stain this, clean up all that horrible glue, and then just make it look a bit prettier. But
Nice.
cool.
Now that Danny's got one side of the door done, we're going to clean up everything to make it look tidy and then get on with the next one. So obviously that's going to take like another day to do, but the next shot you'll end up seeing everything completely done, which is going to be so cool. We finished everything that we're going to do in this video, so I'm going to show you around the updated sort of Zuki tour. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I fitted the roof rack and the roof basket. However, instead of it being here, it was actually further down here, and the reason for the new adjustment is because we're actually going to be having a solar panel on the back here. So me and Danny had to move this thing all the way forward, but if you come on the side, you'll actually see, Danny, come on the side, furthermore, more 90 degrees, thank you. If you see here, ergonomically, I mean, I don't know if this makes any sense, but this kind of goes to this angle, which I think makes it look cooler. Now, the next thing we also did, if you come around here, or should I say, my brother did, is fit a new sound system. Now, this isn't quite finished yet, and that is because it's my birthday today, and I've been waiting to get a wood router, which means we can finish these little lips. So this will slot in very nicely, and then we can also do the same here. I'm going to buy a new window down
Winder?
I don't know what them things that go like that, because now we can customize this door. We want to have something that maybe you can put like your phone, another like little mesh basket, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, look at this guy. Also, shout out Danny Evans, if I can pull it off. For my birthday, he got me an iPod 3 because I'm trying to declutter my life with like social media, and I'm going to be getting they call them dumb phones, but I'm going to be getting a hybrid dumb phone. So he got me this, which means I can now listen to music and I don't have to pay for Spotify because I've got all my songs that I need on here. But listen to this. I can only show you for 5 seconds, otherwise we get copyrighted. Frank Sinatra, baby, let's go. So that's our new speakers on the side, which has crazy bass, and also, which you can't really see, but there are 2 new small speakers here as well, which is super cool and makes the whole sound system sound way better. So that's the pieces that Danny's done, and we're gonna have to move to the front of the van to show you this one. Careful, make sure you put the ND filter up when it closes down, or you get blinded. Oh! Oh! Look how good that is. Woo! That is everything that we've done, new updated on the van, all of the accessories and stuff. In the next video though, we actually have all of the electrics coming out, which means we're going to have to start fitting flooring, sides and ceilings into the van so that we can start fitting all the LED lights, where we're going to ergonomically put the fridge, the grill, all of these different things. So it's going to be a huge video. I'm also super nervous because obviously I've never done electrics before, but I do have a company helping me out, so fingers crossed everything should be okay. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and seeing us go through all of our pains and struggles. But without further ado, I'll see you next Saturday with another video. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all. Like and subscribe, a new video every Saturday. So, it's in gear.